following is a special presentation of the new TNN. They had just seen their man take the checkers. The crew of number 7, Gary St.Amant, had plenty of reason to celebrate. Earlier in the day, their skill had put the Columbus, Ohio native out front, and even one incident with an errant tire had been overcome. For their driver, that win ended a dry spell that had lasted since July of last year. More importantly, it pulled the two-time ASA Racing Series champion to within 32 points of current championship chase leader, Joey Clanton.
Consistency is what's put us in the hunt for winning the championship, and as long as we get those podium finishes, we're going to be right there for the title.
Now the man previously viewed as unbeatable seems vulnerable. With only 4 races left in 2002, could his attempt to surpass the all-time single-season win mark prove to be his undoing?
Well, this close to the championship, I mean, with 4 races to go, I mean, it's a battle every week out with Gary. That's who's in here for the championship, and I think what we're going to have to do is keep doing what we're doing, is going after every win, and, I think the championship will come to us that way.
We've said it before, this season looks suspiciously like the old story of the tortoise and the hare. With St.Amant's newfound performance, however, it's not quite as clear who is chasing whom. Welcome to Cedar Rapids and our second visit of the year to Hawkeye Downs Raceway. Today's presentation of the Iowa 300 marks the start of the home stretch in what may prove to be the most interesting title chase in the long and distinguished history of the world's most prestigious short track stock car championship series. Hello everyone, I'm Bob Dillner. Buddy Baker is trackside. What do you think of this title fight, Buddy?
Well, you know, Bob, everywhere we go, all you hear, Joey Clanton, Gary St.Amant. The reason they're so different in the way they approach a race. Joey Clanton, 9 times a winner this year, but not as consistent as the old pro Gary St.Amant. I'll tell you, Gary St.Amant and Joey Clanton have to keep with the same game plan that got them where they're at, 32 points apart in the national point standing. But keep this in mind, there's another player, Kevin Sawinski. I think he has a good shot at the championship still. Bob?
I think you're right, buddy, and you better get out of the way because the cars are a-rolling. Here's the starting grid for the Iowa 300. Joey Clanton, Butch Miller, and how about Mike Garvey, 4th? Well, he re-nicknamed this racetrack a couple years ago.
Hawkeye Downs Speedway was once coined Mike Garvey's Downs Speedway because he won 3 consecutive ASA races here. Now, Mike, it's a new season, new team. You've had some gremlins to keep you out of victory lane. Could today be the day?
We hope so, Jim. You know, we got Tecumseh back with us this weekend. Joe Shear's helping us. Car's running good. Well, time like now to get back out of the slump.
5th is Robbie Pyle, 6th, 17-year-old Kyle Busch. And how about Dudley Fleck, a top 5 of the late model race here last night?
Dudley Fleck certainly knows his way around Hawkeye Downs. He's a local late model racer here. But Dudley, these ASA guys, they're on your turf. How much is local track knowledge going to help?
Well, that's worth a couple of tenths in qualifying, but these guys are professionals, and they're going to be pretty hard to beat. It might be my turf, but it's their series, so I'll be happy with a good top 5 finish.
One of those professionals, 9th place guy, Dan Fredrickson. Rick Beebe is 10th. Chris Wimmer, Pat Kelly. Gary St.Amant way back there. And Ed Brown there in the number 60 car. Mike Eddy, though, he's looking for a little revenge here in Cedar Rapids.
Mike Eddy's return to ASA in 2002 was met with great disappointment here, getting together while leading with Joey Clanton late in the going at Cedar Rapids. We're back at Cedar Rapids, Mike. What's it going to take today? Is it going to be racing Joey Clanton or the racetrack to win?
Well, I'm racing the racetrack to win. I mean, I'm here to win. I can't let Joey interrupt what I'm doing or what he's doing. I mean, I'm here to win the race, and I'm going to try and put this Zitco Whelen Motorsports car in the winner's circle.
One guy that says he's going to follow Mike Eddy to the front is David Stremme. He's way back there, but why?
Some of the magic that David Stremme and his Meyer team seem to have in the middle of the season has been gone as of late. Even though he finished 4th last weekend in Minneapolis, he started 20th today. And David, what do you need to do to get this Meyer machine back on track to cement that Rookie of the Year championship?
Well, I think one of the things is when we get on older tires, the car will be really good. We concentrated a lot on just getting a good race setup instead of a qualifying setup. So, you know, we're going to end up seeing how the Meyer car can come through the field. I got a lot of confidence in my crew, and maybe follow Mike Eddy and Steve Carlson through the field.
21st is Wisconsin's Todd Cleaver. Russ Tuttle, a great run for him 1 week ago. 17-year-old Joey Miller at row number 13. J.C. Beatty Jr. and rounding out the field in row number 17, Big John Silverthorne and the 48 of Rich Gardner. Folks, don't go away because the green flag is coming up. Clinton, Sawinski, Eddie, and Garvey. We'll see who wins in a while. Coverage of the 2002 ASA Racing Series Championship is being brought to you by B.F. Goodrich Tires. Take control. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. What a beautiful little skyline there. It's also home of Duffy's Collectible Cars. Buddy Baker, Jim Trado, Brian Till, and I went to check out Duffy's this weekend. We sent Jimbo and Brian to do a little bit of work, but Buddy and I, well, we had some fun checking out our looks in the mirrors there. Now that good old Chevy, and Buddy, man, he thinks this car is number one of the old Plymouths that he used to race. Lots of muscle cars at Duffy's Collectible Cars. Just some good old antiques that you can go and buy. You know what? We also got in one of them and had a heck of a ball. Look at me. I'm psyched. I'm riding with former Daytona 500 champ Buddy Baker. Well, Cedar Rapids also the second home of ASA Racing Series. Today, pit stop, very crucial. There's no I in team. And there's Jim Trado.
Well, Bob, the driver starting ninth is Dan Fredrickson in what they call the Batmobile. The team debuted it 4 races ago. They've been able to pick up an average of 4 spots in position per race. He finished third at Minnesota, guys. He's looking very strong. This team is confident they may come home a victor. Brian Till?
Well, Gary St.Amant may have gone from hare last weekend to tortoise this weekend, and he has not qualified well. They had a problem in qualifying. They only are going to make 1, maybe 2 pit stops, so he's not going to have a lot of chance to change his car come race time. Should be an interesting deal, especially chasing down this championship. Bob?
Well, we'll keep an eye on that, Brian Till. Buddy, you're pretty fast, too. You made your way up to the booth.
Whew. I'll tell you, that's tough work, but, you know, we're fixing to see one of the great, all-time great short tracks of all time right here at Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, buddy, hold on to your lug nuts because it's time to go ASA racing. Whoa!
Joey Clanton almost got completely around backwards there. Lost the lead to Rich Miller down the back straightaway, but that car, he was looking out the right door off the corner there.
Wow, Joey Clanton a little loose off the start of this one. This is a very tricky track. Hawkeye Downs Speedway, fast half mile. Whoa, big pileup. Mike Eddy involved in the 6-go-88. Oh, man, tough break for Mike Eddy.
And everybody was talking about Mike Eddy being the fastest car out there after 20 laps into the event. He and Paul Payne can't get away from each other. They just run into each other from a dead stop.
Wow, Landry Potter in the 24 also involved in that one, and that 88's got some big-time damage, as does the 94 car for Paul Payne out of Mound, Minnesota. Oh, man, we were going to watch Mike Eddy march his way through the field because he had an awful quick car in practice, didn't he?
Yeah, and the bad part, the right rear is knocked over. You can see the rear end housing in the car not lined up like it was at the start of the race. So a lot of damage to the 88.
Awful exciting right from the start. Here's the start of the race, buddy.
Look at Clanton right there. That's as close as you'll come to wrecking and not getting there. Oh, was he sideways.
Wow. He and Butch Miller a little sideways coming off the corner there.
And what happens there is you get dust on the racetrack on the first lap, and these guys were just standing on the throttle.
Local star Dudley Fleck, he's the guy that spun to kind of trigger this wreck, and it all happened right around him. You see Joey Miller going by on the inside. Here's another view of it. Fleck goes around in the Smirnoff Ice car, and they all pile up behind.
And Gary St.Amant, second in the points, went to the inside, barely missing the cars that had just stacked up.
Wow. Mike Eddy, they pull the driver's net down on him. He's not here for points, Jim Trado.
Mike Eddy climbing from the car, not racing for points. Mike, that had to be an awfully disappointing start.
Oh, what can you say? You're back there with the squirrels, you get your nuts cracked. That's all I got.
They call him the polar bear, and he has something to say. Oh, wow.
Mike Eddy, one of the true dynamite superstars of the ASA Racing Series and also in short track racing in general. Here's another angle of it. You see Fleck go around, and right behind him. Things just go, oh, St.Amant, you're right. He just squeaked by
There
there.
goes Gary St.Amant in the blue car. He just went down on the flat part in the grass, as a matter of fact.
Brian Till, what do you got?
Well, the 94 car of Payne is in obviously significant damage to the front. They're trying to take the whole front porch off of this thing, but you got to remember, guys, the thing that's so important to these injected engines is that box, that air box up front, and you can see it's not even connected anymore. So even if they get this to where it'll run, it's not going to run well because that air box is not going to function.
So Buddy Baker pointing out the airbox on our telestrator. There is Mike Eddy in the Citgo uniform, sponsored by Citgo and the Muscular Dystrophy Association here. He'll also be joining us in Ileana in a couple of weeks, Buddy, and you know he's going to want to go for the win there because he wanted it bad here today, didn't he?
You got that right.
Another look at what happened. Dudley Fleck in the Smirnoff Ice car goes around, and everybody piled in.
This 1954 convertible is anything but stock. The DeSoto grill kind of tips you as to what you may see as you walk down this Phoenician yellow and pearl white beauty. In the interior, a lot of modern amenities. Cup holders, power windows, power brakes, tilt steering. It's got it all of today's modern features. One neat thing about it I like, the Packard taillights after the 4-inch extension kit on the back of this baby makes it a one of a kind. No one else in your neighborhood will have one of these.
Except if you're Jim Trado, because I heard he put a down payment on it.
I heard the same thing. I like the car.
I do. Good luck, Jim, with your new little automobile there. I heard he's going to be driving back to Milwaukee and not taking the flight back.
Okay, Bob, they're coming down for the green now.
10 laps already in the books here. Butch Miller is your leader. Joey Clanton second. Kevin Sawicki third in the battle for fourth. Whoa!
Kyle Busch was all over the wall, then went back and made contact with another race car out there. Almost took himself out on the restart.
Whoa, jumped alongside of Mike Garvey, and there goes Joey Clanton. He's to the inside of Butch Miller. Clanton in the Campfire USA 83's got the lead.
The racetrack is no longer slick. There was a lot of dust on the racetrack when they dropped the green. The first two cars crossed up coming off turn 2, but you can see now cars running in a straight line off the corner.
We saw Joey Clanton lead a lot of this race the first time we were here this year. Kevin Sawicki trying to pull up to the back bumper of Butch Miller, and Butch hasn't been happy with that car all weekend long, has he?
No, he hadn't. He said, you know, yesterday, don't count on me to have a good qualifying. Went out and put on the outside pole. But right now, Mike Garvey looks to have a great race car, but cannot get by Sawicki as these two guys fight for second here.
Butch Miller been complaining about a tight car all weekend long so far. Sawicki to the inside. Battle for second. Sawicki in the Texas Roadhouse number 1. He's got it.
And look at Garvey. He's trying to get that preferred spot right around the white line here. That's what everybody wants to, where they want to be in the corner.
Here's a look at what happened at the start of the restart of this race around lap number 10. Wow. Busch just hit the wall.
And he and Robbie Powell in the 63 made pretty good contact as he came off the wall.
Garvey to the inside of Butch Miller. That's the battle for third. Garvey in the Tecumseh number 17 to the inside. It doesn't look like Butch Miller's car is running too well here already.
No, he's way up on the high side of the racetrack, and Garvey has a little bit faster car right now. And the air pressures on these tires have not come up to full expectation yet, so he may be better off later on. Butch Miller, very cagey as far as setups.
Brian Till, what's up?
Well, I talked to Dion Deneau, this man right here that makes the calls on Butch Miller's car. He said, we don't care about leading the first 150, 200 laps. We just want to be there at the end. You can see Garvey's all over him right now. They're only planning on making 1 or 2 stops. So if the car is that far off, they need to make those changes on those 1 or 2 stops and make sure it works.
Garvey looks to the inside of Butch. Butch is giving him the line. Garvey ducks low. It's a tough racetrack to pass on.
I'll tell you what I'm seeing, though, with Butch Miller able to run the higher line. As you get into lap traffic, he may have the car to beat. Right at the moment, the lower lane is a little bit faster, but when they start going by lap cars, Butch Miller will come to life, I think.
This racetrack is like a roller coaster out there, too, isn't it?
It is that. You come up out of the corner, you run uphill towards the flag stand, as Butch Miller's doing now, and then into turn 1, you run downhill getting into turn 1. Very difficult racetrack if your car's not exactly perfect.
But it puts on some exciting shows. We saw a great one here earlier this spring. Joey Clanton won that race. In fact, the 04, the driver there, Butch Miller, he wasn't even in that car when we raced here in the spring.
No, but he's made up for it since then with 3 wins in ASA this year. Butch Miller 46 times he's been a winner on the ASA circuit.
In fact, when we were here in the springtime, car owner Ken Smith of the ASI Limited team, he went over to Butch and said, hey, would you like to drive my car? Butch said yes. Now, Garvey in third. Jim Trado, what's up?
Speaking of Mike Garvey, Bob, what the crew is worried about is how long the car will run on longer runs, how well it's running. Their practice times yesterday backed up that on used tires, Garvey is good. The crew is very upbeat. The fact that Garvey is able to stay with the leaders now and not have to wait for that car to get 20 or 30 laps under green to get up to full songs. They're very pleased with the work they did this past week to get rid of some of those gremlins we talked about earlier.
Joe Shear, the crew chief for the W.J. Clemens Investments, number 17. Of course, for Mike Garvey, Joe Shear, the crew chief for Johnny Sauter, last year's champ.
Yeah, and he won both races here last year, so you would have to know that he knows how to set the car up for Mike Garvey.
You're absolutely correct. In fact, Johnny Sauter led 551 laps after a 600 run here last year. That's pretty incredible. So Garvey should have a darn good car here today. That guy's got a pretty good car too, Buddy Baker. He's already setting the pace out here. What do you think?
Sailing. I'll tell you, he looks very good, but if you notice, Garvey is closing in.
Joey Clanton trying to tie the single season win mark here in ASA. That would be 10. He's got 9 already. Kevin Sawinski in second spot. Clanton setting sail, as Buddy Baker said. There's his brother, Rusty Clanton, and crew chief Bon Suss on top of the box. There is your top 10. Pat Kelly with a good run early on here in Cedar Rapids. Joey Clanton making it look easy so far, Buddy Baker.
He is that, but he's sliding off the corner just like he did at the State Fair in Minnesota last race that we had here on TNN. He crosses that car up and slides it off. That'll eat that right rear off if he continues to run that loose.
I asked crew chief Bon Suss what happened a week ago at the State Fair. He said, we just missed the setup. This car he is running, they call it repeat, the same car that won here in the springtime. A little further back in the field, we're going to take a look at a battle for the 12th spot. We watched Joey Clanton going around the racetrack. You see him going around Mark Floor, but that is the 7 and the 11. Gary St.Amant, the 2-time champ, second place in points. And David Stremme in the Meyer, number 11. The battle currently for the 12th spot.
Yeah, and just in front of them, Reed Sorensen, who won his first All-Star race last week. This kid is only 16 years old, and he's winning everything.
11th grade. Can you believe it? He's running an ASA?
Yeah, and he's awful talented. He has several legend titles to his name now. I think 7, as a matter of fact. Trouble on the front straightaway.
Trouble. Jason Boyd involved in the Johnny King car. The second caution of the day does fly. You see Tom Powell waving that caution flag in the starter's stand. But Jason Boyd, the kid that took over the ride for the Frankie Grill-owned team from Wayne Anderson at midseason, is in trouble.
Track position, so important here. And right now, we've even had a change for second place when we get back to it. Mike Garvey's moved into second, and he's right on the back of the 83.
This 86 team has had a very tough year, buddy. Wayne Anderson in the car early on, and take a look at this wreck. Tore apart that 86 Johnny King car, and then a battle with Landry Potter at Wisconsin International Raceway. Hard into the wall, and then Jason Boyd in the car in his first race at Jennerstown. He does the loop-de-loop. And then a battle with Joey Clanton and Salio go for the lead. He spins, and then you like this one, the last lap battle with David Stremme.
Well, David Stremme gets into him there, turns him around. This is a battle for fourth. They fight every position here. You can see a little, maybe payback there from Jason Boyd getting into Stremme, and they get into the outside wall.
And take a look at what happened today. He does another loop-de-loop on the front stretch, and man.
You want to talk about luck when you stand in front of that many cars.
Here we are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Joey Clanton, your leader of this ASA race. Mike Garvey second. Kevin Sawinski third in the Texas Roadhouse number 1. But here comes Mike Garvey.
Mike Garvey in the 17 car there in second place. They don't like each other a lot on the racetrack. Pretty good friends off the racetrack. But Joey Clanton in the 17 there, Mike Garvey, they just seem to have a feud going on the racetrack. And he says, you know, I'm going to keep in his head. I'm going to pump him every time I can because he's run into me several times. Talking about Garvey, he says that Joey Clanton has run into him 3 or 4 times. He says, I don't forget.
He's like an elephant.
Or something. He's got a mirror full of Kevin Sawinski at the moment, though, in the one car.
And you know what? He and Kevin Sawinski have also gotten into it a couple times on the racetrack. Montgomery, Alabama last year, battling for the lead as teammates then. Mike Garvey and LaFavor Racing, they went their separate ways this past year. Now Mike has the Bill Clemens own machine, and Sawinski is all over Garvey's tail.
Sawinski at the moment has a faster car. He's looking for a way around Garvey. Of course, Garvey not giving up the bottom of the racetrack, where Sawinski is always dominant. He is what we call in racing a bottom feeder.
He's like a lobster.
You got it.
There is Joey Clanton dominating this race, Skip Trado.
Joey Clanton did wiggle a few times in the race. However, his lap times right after put him right back in contention as the fastest car on the racetrack. I did talk to his crew chief, Bonsass. He said he has a bit spongy brake pedal, but other than that, he's been able to keep the car where it needs to be. It also could be that the tire temperatures weren't up to snuff when he did wiggle going into the corner at the outset and again on that last restart.
Sawinski on the inside of Mike Garvey, the bottom feeder, going for it in the Great Clips #1 machine.
Side-by-side racing, ex-teammates, as we just talked about. Right now, no love being shown here. Sawinski wants by, but Mike Garvey has a good car on the outside.
Brian Tilt.
Well, I talked to Sawinski before the race. He said he thinks the track's going to go tight. I confirmed that with Chappie. He said, yeah, we loosened the car up a little bit. We freed it up a little bit for the race, but we're still a little tight. We're going to have to change it on one of the pit stops. That means he can't run there on the bottom where he wants to, at least not as fast as he wants to, guys. Wait for the next pit stop. We'll see if he improves.
Brian mentioned Sawinski's car still a little bit tight, but buddy, is this track going to loosen up as it gets greasy from the sun in the afternoon?
Well, it'll change a lot, and the biggest thing, a lot of these cars have not been in race conditions where you have a lot of lap traffic out there. This battle continues on, and Sawinski's trying to get that edge to Mike Garvey, realizing that he's getting great forward grip off the corner, and they're actually running Joey Clanton down, our leader, running side by side. That tells me there's muscle back there.
You don't see that too often. Sawinski and Garvey are catching Joey Clanton. Both those guys trying to work their magic mojo here to work their way into the lead. And maybe Joey Clanton, though, just pacing himself.
Well, if he's pacing, he's doing a good job of it because he's continuing to hold about a 4-car length lead as they go down into turn 3. But if these guys ever get up on him, I think Joey Clanton at the moment needs to make a chassis adjustment on that car.
Well, you got 2 out of the 3 top guys at points there. The other guy that's in that mix, Gary St.Amant, he is running 10th right behind the 66 car of Pat Kelly, one of the independent runners here at ASA, doing oh so well this year. But Gary tried to work his way up, but maybe taking his time.
Well, you see what he has there. You have cars running side by side. Rick Beebe in the 5 on the outside, Kelly in the 66, and he can't just pull out and pass people because all these cars are very equal in speed down the straightaway.
Brian?
Well, I checked with Bill McGowan. We had talked to Gary St.Amant earlier. He said, I changed everything but the right rear. Bill McGowan, the crew chief, said, we changed the right rear spring too. The problem is they just don't have a good car. It's a little bit tight, but it's not bad enough to come in under a yellow and change it. Not now, anyway. They want to get by on only one pit stop. So the problem is it's not bad enough to come work on it, but it's not good enough to run with the guys. Bill McGowan made all the right calls last time. This week, he needs to make one really good call on this one pit stop that they want to make and see if they can put their man to the front and keep him in this title chase.
Brian says he's not good enough to run with the boys, but he certainly is making his way through this field on the inside of Rick Beebe in the Collis Equipment number 5.
But you watch these cars down the straightaways, they look like they're glued together, equal down the straightaways. It's just the best handling car in ASA. It's up to the team, the driver, and that's about it because they basically all have the same horsepower.
Rick Beebe, you speak of horsepower, he switched power plants in that car. Notice that his engine was down some horsepower in the last couple races, said it's working much better this weekend. He's hoping for a good run, but he has slipped from 7th to 9th in just the last couple laps. Pat Kelly leading that brigade. Rick Beebe. Gary St.Amant goes to the inside of Beebe once again with Reed Sorensen just lurking back there watching Gary St.Amant do his little magic stuff around this half-mile speedway. St.Amant, you know, he's glued to the bottom just like Sawinski.
He is, and if he had track position to get him up to the leaders, he's probably just as fast. But right now, you don't just pull out. You can see he's trying the outside now. Couldn't get it done on the inside. He's going to try BB on the outside maybe.
Pat Kelly, 15 starts, 4 top 10s as you saw with the graphic. But there is your leader, Joey Clanton, the Campfire USA machine. The Mike Garvey crew, Jeremy Weber and the guys getting ready for some pit stops maybe around the midpoint in this race. Joey Clanton's your leader, but Robbie Piles on the move in the Sitco car. He's up to 4th. We'll be back in a moment. A little bit of puppy power here in Cedar Rapids. That's Esther Gleisman, wife of...
Part of the race, you just biding your time?
Well, we're trying to run the AC Delphi Chevrolet pretty hard. Just don't seem to be too much of an outside groove out there. Just have a little bit of problems with the cars in front of us, but we're going to be okay.
I'm sure of that. We'll talk to you later, bud. Thanks.
Thank you, buddy.
St.Amant up to the 9th spot, battling Joey Clanton for this championship. You spoke of the championship earlier in this show, buddy. Man, it is really a war.
It is a war, and the one thing is contrasting styles. You have one guy that goes for win every week, Gary St.Amant. He's so consistent that he's always in there, and he's a 2-time champion. There's something about winning championships and knowing how to do it.
Gary says, you know what, this championship is more important to me than race wins. I want to win races, but you get $200,000 if you win the ASA title, and that is a lot of money.
You know, since we talked to Gary St.Amant, I might try to talk to our race leader, Joey Clanton.
He's got some time.
Joey Clanton, this is Buddy Baker. Can you read me? Joey Clanton's kind of like me when I'm leading the race. I don't want to talk to a whole lot of people. Joey Clanton, can you hear me? Not a chance. I don't blame him a bit. When I was in the lead, I didn't even want to talk to my crew chief hardly.
You can see Dan Fredrickson with that hand out the window there. Fredrickson running in the 6th spot.
Hold it from the pavement. 121 we're going to buy.
That's right. The green flag flies. The number up front is the 83 of Joey Clanton, but Mike Garvey's been hot. Robbie Pyle having a little trouble on the start.
Yeah, he got down in the corner. If you don't clean these tires off on the restart, I think that's what happened to Robbie Pyle. He turned the car. It had a lot of junk on the racing rubber there. As he turned in, it just started pushing out to the outside, and Kyle Busch almost got by him.
And holy moly, take a look at the bottom feeder, proving us wrong. Kevin Sawinski trying to go to the outside.
If it don't work on the bottom, you have to find another way by, and if a guy's taking the lower lane and you're a little bit faster, you'll try anything, but now he looks to the bottom and actually pulls up on the quarter, but can't make the pass.
Sawinski in the Texas Roadhouse #1, duking it out with his former teammate, Mike Garvey, in the Tecumseh 17. Garvey looks a little loose coming up off the corner.
They're both, you know, you have to have the car a little loose at the start. It's going to pick up a lot of rubber in the groove, and your racetrack will change quite a bit, and they'll tighten up as they go, I think.
You know what it seems like? Mike Garvey said last week that his car was better the longer it ran, and he doesn't look as good off the start, but it does look good on long runs.
Well, that's the thing. You set the car up so you get a lot of traction up out of the corner, and anytime you do that, you have a tendency to make the front end push because it's getting so much grip out of the rear.
Here comes Sawinski on the outside, pushing it to the limit.
They've been there before, side by side. Robbie Pyle hoping anybody slips in that 63 car. He'd like to get up to second and maybe make a charge there on our leader, Joey Clanton, who's not there. He's checked out just for the moment.
Sawinski can't do it yet, but he comes back on the inside. Man, this has been good racing.
Oh, it has been, and you can see the outside lane is just as fast. You roll the car a little further through the center of the corner when you're on the high side, but look at that run off the corner he gets.
But there goes Mike Garvey, as Buddy says, a run off the corner, back into the 2nd spot. Sawinski falls into 3rd. Russell Clanton right there, brother of Joey Clanton, saying, go, Joey, go. Gary St.Amant is up to 9th. Boris Jurkovic, 19th. Chris Wimmer needs a run for him, and 12th.
This 1969 Super Bee had a lot of potency on the racetrack and off. It rarely lost a race at the stoplight, and I understand Richard Petty drove a lot of these kind of cars to race victories. Now, Buddy Baker, I understand you also saw a lot of taillights when you raced against them because you couldn't catch them.
Thank you, Jim. Isn't that sweet of Jim to bring that up? But I will tell you, I wasn't in a class by myself. We watched that man win 200 times on the Winston Cup circuit, so everybody got a good shot in the back of Richard Petty's car.
How about that? Nice Jim Trito. Robbie Pyle, a pretty nice guy. The 63 of Robbie Pyle. And Mike Garvey duking it out as Kevin Zawinski has moved by into the second spot. Garvey losing a little bit of ground, but talking about a bottom feeder, Robbie Pyle running very well on the inside.
That 63 car has a lot of muscle at this moment, able to run low or high. And if he gets by right now, as you see him, he's pulling even. I think he's the fastest car on the racetrack, but he needs track position. That's everything on a short track.
You know, Robbie Pyle has been hard at work with the guys on that team back in their shop outside of Chicago. I asked Robbie's wife, Judy Ann, I said, hey, you moved to Chicago in the off-season. How much have you seen Robbie? She says, he's a workaholic. I haven't seen him pretty much at all.
A workaholic and a very, very nice guy, and he's getting tired of people saying he's too nice. Well, he's not. He's a very competitive race car driver, but he will give you a break on the racetrack, and some of these guys know it.
What's up, Jim?
I'm down in Mike Garvey's pit with Joe Shear Jr., who has said that his driver has said nothing on the radio. So Mike Garvey backpedaling just a bit compared to the others, has not told the team what to fix or how to fix it. So Garvey's out there muscling the car. They're waiting for the next caution to come in and make an adjustment, but they don't know what to adjust because Garvey hasn't given them any indication yet.
Well, those guys just went around the 89 of John Webb and also Troy Wangerin in the 39.
Yeah, and you're talking about Robbie Pyle being the fastest car out there. Gary St.Amant back in the pack here, trying to work his way back up to the front, now running in 7th spot.
The number 7 in 7th for Gary St.Amant and the AC Delco team. For all you David Stremme fans, he's got that overheating problem fixed. The Meyer machine is back out on the racetrack, but many laps down.
And Gary St.Amant now has clear racetrack in front of him, and he'll move up. He just keeps climbing the ladder. He started out, you know, he made a few positions and a couple more. Now he's starting to go towards the front.
There is St.Amant. Jim Ross just behind him. Ross is several laps down as well, but Gary St.Amant trying to march his way through the field and has worked his way up pretty amicably. He's come from 15th to 7th.
Yeah, and let's give a call right now to Kyle Busch in the 07. He's running very, very well today. He's running in 5th spot, and he's just behind 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place cars now. Great job today.
Ever since that team got that Howe chassis race car, they have run oh so much better. Yet, do you know that Kyle has not been the top finishing rookie yet in ASA this year?
Just remember the other thing. He didn't start shaving until last December. I mean, he's a young man with a great future. Jack Roush has already got him under contract. He'll move up just like his brother.
Yeah, and I asked him how often he shaves. He said, oh, about once every 2 weeks.
Whether he needs it or not.
A guy that must have to shave a lot is the former ASA champ, 97 champ in the Great Clips number 1, Kevin Zawinski in 2nd spot. Is he catching Clinton?
Yeah, I'm looking at the front end of that car right down on the pavement. You could see the yellow car just in front of him, of Clanton. They're getting closer and closer.
Brian Till.
Well, I'm down here in Kevin Zawinski's pit. He's now gotten a little loose. The track has changed a little bit. He's communicating with his crew. They're also communicating about this. They've got the Bears-Viking game on because Kevin's a big Bears fan. The crew's all Viking guys, so they're keeping him informed of what's happening in the football game as well as what's happening with his race car, guys.
There's Mike Chaffee on top of the box, a Bears fan. Kevin's from Wisconsin.
I'd be a Bear if he told me about what something was going on TV when I was driving a race car. I will tell you it's 100% concentration, and I'll guarantee you he could care less at the moment what the Bears are doing.
Hey, you into numerology?
Oh, please.
I just got to tell you this, because I'm not usually into these stats and stuff, but Kevin Zawinski in that one car has finished in the top 4 in the last 4 races. We said David Stremme just a couple moments ago. He is back out on the racetrack, as we mentioned. So David Stremme many laps down in the 30th spot, but getting back to Kevin Zawinski, 4 straight top 4s, 3 straight top 3s, 2 straight top 2s. We got 4, 3, 2. What would be next, buddy?
Top 2s, huh?
Well, if you're looking at 4th, 3rd, 2nd.
It's your story. Tell it like you will.
Kevin Zawinski is battling for that top spot. You know, that could be a good omen for him.
And closing in every lap. He's down to less than 2 car lengths as they head into turn 3. Zawinski a little bit in the middle part of the racetrack. Usually he's eating that white line up, but he's moved his line up a little bit and closed in on Joey Clanton and much quicker at the moment.
The attitude of that race car, talking about Kevin Sawinski's, just looks awful good.
Yeah, and he's thinking, I got my Garvey on the outside. He's already setting the pace out there, moving out in 1 and 2, a little bit lower in 3 and 4, but he found something that number 1 car worked very well. Kevin Sawinski, a very talented race car driver, national champion in 1997. He knows all about championships too, and he's in the points race.
And did you check out that graphic? Joey Clanton over 1,800 laps led. And take a look at that, the battle between Kyle Busch and Danny Fredrickson. Fredrickson moves up into the 5th spot.
Yeah, and Danny's a crew, you know, he's a member of the Sawinski group. All of them drive the LeFevre cars, and these cars are basically set up close, but every driver likes them a little bit different. Danny's very competitive today.
And take a look at the distance between that duo and Gary St.Amant, who's running in 7th. Fredrickson is 5th, Busch 6th. Way back there is the AC Delco car for Gary St.Amant.
Yeah, but one straightaway on the short track is absolutely nothing. Gary St.Amant running a very smart race today.
118 laps completed here of 300 in the Iowa 300. Those guys, wow, look at the lap traffic.
The lap traffic is everything on a short track, and Sawinski right now licking his chops. He says, I've got a good car, and it will run up high.
Jason Boyd in the 86 spun earlier. He is very slow. Chad Woods, that next car to get lapped. That Wisconsin Dells Motor Speedway, number 2. And Joey Clanton is just eating them up.
Well, it's certainly different than last we saw of the 83. He was so loose in the Minnesota State Fair race that we had that he couldn't drive the race car. Most people with less ability would have wrecked the 83 car. I told him today what a great job he did to finish 7th.
Hey, Jim Trado, what do you got for us?
Well, actually, Joey Clanton is planning on just a one-stop race. The one thing to consider is the tires he's going to put on when he does pit. These are the tires he had a mock qualifying run. In practice, they allow you to go out and do a simulated qualifying run. You can use those tires back in the race. I just spoke with Von Suss's crew chief. I said, why are you going with the scuffed tires instead of the stickers? He said, on this hot day, we want to keep the car as consistent as possible. We started the tires we qualified on, which were scuffed. We want to stay with that plan with one right side tire change.
And the other thing, the tires have been through a heat cycle. Once you run them like that, makes it a little better.
Pit strategy should be interesting. 1 stop versus 2. 1-1 Joey Clanton, the race here in the springtime. And that's what Von Suss and the crew plan to do again here today at Cedar Rapids. The 4th caution of the day, and some body damage for Danny Fredrickson in this one. Ed Brown also involved, and Buddy, the fender a flapping there on the Red Baron pizza car.
Well, they can tear that off. That's no more than just, you can see right there. Look at the soft wall there. It took a lot. Ed Brown backed into that wall pretty hard.
ASA official Randy Rabinowitz looks like he's profiling for the soft wall there, and here's what happened, Buddy. Take me through it.
Well, Ed Brown there on the outside, you can see him loosen the back of the car right there. Fredrickson right behind him. Fredrickson goes up high, they make contact, and he goes into the outside wall also. Had that not been the soft wall, the 21 car would be out. They'll tear those fiberglass fenders off, and he'll re-enter the battle.
Here's a second look at what happened. You see Brown just sliding up the racetrack in that 60 car, and just a soft touch of that soft styrofoam wall. Brian Till.
Well, yeah, he's got significant damage. They're actually ripping the right front fender off the car. And like you said, if it weren't for the soft walls, I'm sure we'd have suspension and frame damage too. But this damage is definitely going to hurt his hopes for a top 5 finish. And now it looks like they may remove the entire hood.
They will have to, because there's nothing to hook the hood to. They ripped the front end off the car, and there's nothing to put the hood pins through.
See Mike Frolick and the guys on that team. JT Anderson, the jackman. JT just rips the hood off there. Now JT going to work on the nose of that car, trying to get that off. Pit stops are happening here as well. Everybody on pit road, which may be the only stop of the day.
Yeah, and I can see Dan Fredrickson's car was shooting steam out of it there also, so he's got real problems.
Jim Trado to you.
Joey Clanton comes in his pit stall. Von Suss, the crew chief, is also the front tire changer. He goes to work as the crew goes to the right side of the Campfire USA Chevy. They are going to make a slight air pressure adjustment, but they thought the car was really good. We mentioned they're putting the scuffs on. A little bit of problem on the right rear, and he's down and away. We'll see if he can beat the rest of them off the pit road with a 10.7 second stop.
Gary St.Amant had another great stop there. I don't know whether he beat Clanton or not. That'll be up to the paddle man, Fred.
You know, Jim Trado mentioned Dean Aikens in the BFG POV. Gary St.Amant for the second straight week. That AC Delco team with Dean Aikens, another dynamite pit stop.
Dynamite came in 7th and goes out in 2nd spot.
Joey Clanton, well, he says he's number 1 there. There goes St.Amant ducking back down pit road.
Could he been a little fast on pit road, you think, and they're penalizing him, making him go around?
Something certainly happened. St.Amant stops, gets it cranked again. Oh, man, something's going on for that AC Delco team, and that spells trouble for Gary St.Amant.
Stop and go penalty as he comes around here. Now he's getting the paddle from Fred there, saying, wait just a second, here comes the leader.
Fred Mullum holds them up. Gary St.Amant will have to go to the rear of this field and work his way through again.
Oh, tough break. You want to talk about track position, he went the other way, but actually had a dynamite stop, but maybe you just a little too fast on pit road.
Oh, tough break for Gary. You see Kyle Busch ducking low. He's going to come down pit road once again. Gary's still being held, and they say, go ahead. Jack Baber with the call on the number 7 car. He made the call to bring Gary back down pit road for the stop and go penalty. Jack's probably not going to be Gary's best friend this week.
You don't even have to guess on that one.
Poor Gary, but you know what? Makes it interesting for us because we get to watch the AC Delco car back through this field. Brian Till.
Well, Gary St.Amant came in. I just talked to Bill McGowan. I said, why? He said, beats me. It's hard to explain to me why. He came in and was running side by side with Kevin Sawinski on the way out. He got nailed for speeding and Kevin didn't. But regardless, that was the case. They brought him back in. That's going to hurt. That good stop that was going to gain him track position. He's gone the other way.
You see Roy Marvin and Gary's dad, Bud St.Amant, talking on pit road. There are 2 speed guns on pit road, and Gary was just caught with one of them. Well, we're going to try to get a hold of Gary St.Amant. He's usually a good-natured fellow. Buddy, you can take it.
Oh, I dread this, but here we go. Gary St.Amant, this is Buddy Baker. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
I hate to talk to you at this time. I know it's tough on you, but what in the heck happened there?
Well, I'll tell you what, when they had another great pit stop, I got out of there, and their damn tack's not working, and kind of cost us this time.
Well, good luck. I know you got your work cut out for you, but if anybody can make it back to the front, you can.
Thank you, buddy.
Jim Trado, what's up?
Well, Kyle Busch is running up into the 5th position, the Rouse Racing Ford, and what they found is they have a brake problem. They brought him in, looked at the right front caliper, it looks okay. They're adding fluid now, but Busch, again, like St.Amant, will have to do it from the back of the field this time, however. They hope they have enough fluid in. It may have boiled out in this Ford.
Overheating problems for David Stremme, now also for Kyle Busch. A hot day here, buddy. Are we going to see maybe more of that?
Yeah, but look out just in front of the 83 there. You see the 17 car of Garvey actually ahead of the 83 of Clanton.
Clanton's team having a little bit of trouble on the right rear, as Jim pointed out, but Garvey gets out in front of him, and that's it comes to number 17, so good pit stop for Joe Shear, Jeremy Weber, and the boys on that number 17 crew.
The leader right now, Butch Miller in the 04.
Butch Miller, how about that? Almost went a lap down before that caution, is out in front of this field.
Picks up the throttle right there. A lot of traffic on the inside. Gets a good straight bite off the corner there, but he's got a lot of company going down that back straightaway. He's got a mirror full of Mike Garvey.
And why is Butch Miller in the lead? Well, he pitted, if you recall, very early in this race. Did not pit during that last round of pit stops under that caution. But Mike Garvey is all over his back bumper.
Yeah, and he's trying the outside now. Garvey is. Joey Clanton there, our points leader in 3rd spot.
What? Trying to decide which way to go. There's Mark Floor in the 17. He goes around.
Again, that's his 2nd time today. Mark Floor has been around.
And the caution comes out for the 5th time here at Hawkeye Downs Speedway. Tom Powell, man, his arm must be getting tired. 5 cautions already in the first half of this racetrack. Race, I should say. 142 down, 300 is the distance. There are some tools of the trade here for the ASA boys. We'll be back in a moment.
In 1966, Ford made the Shelby GT350. They also made 999 of these. The Shelby GT350H was made specifically for Hertz rental car. They came in black and gold. They came in white and gold like this one. But only 50 of these white and gold combinations were made. Hertz thought it'd be great to have a little sportier car in the fleet. And the Weekend Warriors, they thought it was great because they had a weekend rent-a-racer. Ever wonder where all those pesky collision damage waivers come from at the rental car companies? I think it probably started right here.
Yeah, you know where it started? Brian Till driving that car.
Yeah, but it wasn't because of the way he accelerated just then, I can tell you that.
Are you saying he was a light foot?
Light foot, that's it.
You know, we mentioned David Stremme. He's had all sorts of trouble here, running back in the 29th spot. A tough break for the fourth place point guy, and got a dynamite crew and an interest.
Well, Winchester, he ought to be dynamite.
Gary St.Amant came down pit road, Jim Trado.
He did indeed, Bob, and the call was made very late by his crew chief, Bill McGowan, on top of the pit box to bring Gary down. And remember, he did have a stop-and-go penalty, so he's well back in the field. They thought they'd lose maybe 1 or 2 positions by getting fresh left-side tires. It wasn't a planned stop, but they said, why not get 4 fresh underneath that ASA Iowa Chevy to the run to the end? They don't plan on coming in again, however.
You ready?
Smart move.
There you go.
Yeah, indeed.
Be ready.
Fresh rubber. These other guys only have 2 tires worth of fresh rubber. Gary's got 4.
Anytime you're running short tracks, fresher is better. I don't care where it's at.
Here we go. Tom Powell waves the green flag. We're going racing again. Butch Miller, your leader, but you know what? Maybe not for long because Mike Garvey is a-coming.
And Mike Garvey has to be careful because Joey Clanton's right there. If he can't make the pass, if they get hung up, he could actually make it 3 wide and maybe take the lead.
Check out Garvey inside the cockpit of that car, leaning to the left, really working it on the outside. And Butch Miller, well, guess what? He is the BF Goodrich Tires halfway there award winner, has led 31 laps of this baby.
Got that halfway money, dropped back. Now he's running for second spot. But look at Mike Garvey, a 3-time winner here, out front.
Garvey, a 3-time winner, but Garvey has not won yet this year. In fact, the last time he won March of last year, and that's got to be wearing on him pretty good.
It's wearing on him because, you know, when you win 13 times in ASA like he has, you expect a lot out of yourself. And this year, he just had trouble, you know, time after time after time.
Joey Clanton there in the Campfire USA 83. Now Kevin Sawinski all over his tail. Sawinski, Clanton, and Garvey. Also Piles, they've been the story here so far.
Yeah, but every time you see that 17 car move up a spot, so does the 83 of Joey Clanton move up a spot.
You know, we mentioned Butch Miller was in the lead. You see Sawinski to the inside of Joey Clanton.
This shouldn't take long here. When you have fresh tires like this, looks like Sawinski's really got that inside figured out, but Joey Clanton says, not so fast, bud.
Joey Clanton can find the groove on a racetrack that is good for him.
Well, he stays up on the steering wheel, and if it's a little bit loose, he just wrestles it around the racetrack. Quite a driver here. I can't wait to see just how far he goes in sport because he certainly has the tools.
Joey Clanton has really matured here in ASA, his 3rd year in competition. Won a race his rookie season. 9 out of the 16 races so far this year. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and we're working on the 16th.
Joey Clanton and Kevin Sawinski, buddy, you remember this one from Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. Kevin Sawinski says, stop blocking me, Joey. I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to spin you.
Good old hard racing, I will tell you right now. That has to be in the back of the 83, Joey Clanton. He's also the leader right now in the points. And, you know, there's so much money. That's almost $250,000 for the points championship. So he has to keep that in mind. He cannot be, of course, Joey Clanton does not worry about how he drives a race car. One of the most aggressive drivers of all time in ASA.
Certainly. I mean, he said, I have a point to prove this year. Johnny Soder dominated me last year. I want to dominate this year. He certainly has, but it's pretty interesting for a guy that's won 9 races not to have a bigger point lead.
Yeah, and exactly 3 years ago, he was the Rookie of the Year in ASA. Look how far he's come in such a short time.
And look who else is coming. Robbie Pyle in the Sitco 63 to the outside of Kevin Sawinski.
Robbie Pyle, excellent car. You see right there, a little bit quicker than Sawinski getting in the corner. And, of course, the 83 car keeps Sawinski from really diving down in the corner. So it's going to be interesting for the second spot.
Joey's car doesn't look as good as it did earlier.
No, right at the moment, he's not as quick as the Mike Garvey car. And Mike right now is out there where he loves to race. I watched him many times on short tracks. He does not make many mistakes.
Whoa, nobody making mistakes out there yet. Kevin Sawinski, Robbie Pyle, and Joey Clanton battling tooth and nail. Man, that is a great fight. Sawinski jumps to the outside. Robbie Pyle, he doesn't know which way to go.
Well, Clanton went for that little fade not long ago, but right now, Sawinski, he has to be up there where he knows he's down on the outside, or he just shuts the door on him when they come off the corner. Sawinski right now, a man without an island.
Robbie Pyle, he has won here in ASA competition, but has not won yet this year. And you know, with all this talk about being too much of a nice guy, you know he wants to win. The guys on pit road keeping track of how fast their drivers are going on the racetrack. Mike Chappie hoping that Kevin Sawinski can get the lead. Buckle up your britches, folks. Here's what happened in the last 50 laps out here. Ed Brown spins. Danny Fredrickson nowhere to go and right into the styrofoam. But you know what? That saved that car, as Buddy Baker pointed out. Tough break for Danny Fredrickson and Ed Brown, who qualified very well out here today. And then a really bad break for Gary St.Amant. Caught for speeding on pit road. He is held to come down pit road for a stop-and-go penalty. Had to go to the back of the pack. The restart on lap 150. Butch Miller has a lead then, but doesn't anymore. In fact, Butch Miller has faded to 12th. Mike Garvey, Clanton, Sawinski, and Pyle, your top four. But Buddy, the guy in fifth, the birthday boy, turned 45 on Friday. Steve Carlson having a great run.
Yeah, Steve Carlson, for a change, is rested. I said, where'd you win a race this week? He said, nowhere. I tore up all my cars last week, other than my ASA car. He says, I'm ready this weekend, and he's proven it all the way up to fifth now.
Steve Carlson, the leader in the Remax Challenge Series point standings, a winner at Madison earlier in the year in ASA. Take a look at the rest of the field. Paul Payne, Joey Miller was involved in that first lap wreck. He is out, and so is Mike Eddy, but Mike Eddy will come back to fight in a couple of weeks at Ileana. That guy fighting for all he's got right now.
Yeah, and Mike Garvey looks like he's on the rail out there. This car right down on the bottom of the racetrack. When he picks up the throttle, it never wiggles.
Hey, there is Butch Miller. Mentioned he's back to 12th. Butch is just struggling today.
Yeah, and he's on the oldest tires out there also. He made an early pit stop, and right now his tires are really worn down.
What do you think, Brian Till?
Well, we saw him on that early pit stop with the hood up. They thought it might be a plug wire. Now they think it's a battery. The long and the short of it, it's something electrical, and the engine's only running on about 7 cylinders most of the time, so he doesn't have the horsepower that he needs. Seems to be a day of nickel parts. It got David Strimmy. Now it's gotten Butch Miller.
There's not much you can do about that. Just plain old bad luck.
Absolutely. One thing about it, though, you look at Clanton there in that yellow car, number 83. He's closing in just a little bit on Mike Garvey. Never gives up, this guy.
Gary St.Amant, the battle for 6 with Pat Kelly. In a couple of weeks, we're going to go to Pat Kelly's home track in Ileana.
Yeah, but how amazing is this? Gary St.Amant came in, got left side. He has the freshest tires out there right now. Started dead last, and he's already up to 7th.
And this is a pretty tough track to pass on, too, isn't it?
He's not making it look that way, but I'll tell you, fresh tires really help on short track.
St.Amant battling with Kelly. Kelly having a pretty darn good run out here this week. Looking for a top 10 finish, which would be his 5th of the year. St.Amant on the inside, pokes his nose underneath. Kelly gives him the room, but can he do it?
Well, right now you see the momentum is on the outside there. If Gary St.Amant was out where Kelly is, he'd just drive away with the fresher tires. But you have to cramp the car down in the center part of the corner and turn the steering wheel so hard that it actually scrubs off speed.
Kelly hanging on, finished 10th here in the spring race at Hawkeye Downs. Take a look at the live scoring in the upper left-hand part of your screen to see where your favorite driver is running. Chris Wimmer, pretty good job for him, running 9th. Todd Gleaver, the Wisconsinite.
They're doing a great job. You see Kyle Busch has dropped back some. Early in the race was up to 5th spot.
Jimbo, what's up?
Boris Jurkovic in his first ASA start has pulled the helmet off. He has overheating problems in the 20 car. He'll have to wait to get to his home track at Ileana to impress, as he was up to 10th here today at Cedar Rapids.
You know, his cousin, John Jurkovic, played for the Green Bay Packers and the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You're exactly correct. His brother will be at Ileana when he races there.
That'd be pretty cool. Gary St.Amant. He'll be there, of course, because he's battling for this championship in the 7th spot in the 7 car.
Yeah, Pat Kelly giving nothing up to fresh tires. Got great momentum from that outside lane.
Pat Kelly, crew chief Steve Gassman, has worked real hard on that race car all year long. Of course, first-time competitors out here in ASA. Steve Carlson, the Remax Challenge Series point leader and winner in ASA. We mentioned him. He's 5th. He hasn't looked to the level of the top guys, but do you think he has it for today?
Absolutely. Anytime he's on the racetrack, he knows how to win. We've watched him do it too many times in too many series. He's a great short track driver.
Brian Till?
Well, we watched him come from dead last to win a race earlier this year, and this man, John Binky, does not want to see another yellow flag. They said the car's okay, but it gets better and better as they run. These yellow sections and the short periods of green don't help them out. The longer the green is, the more of a chance Steve Carlson has to go to the front.
And Carlson would like to celebrate his birthday weekend with, of course, a Victory Lane celebration, maybe a little champagne bath there in Victory Lane. They want to also say happy birthday to Mark Gundrum, one of the head honchos here in ASA, celebrating his 40th birthday.
I hear the papers rattling right now. The 83 of Joey Clanton closing in less than 2 car lengths now. Not long ago, Mike Garvey had a full straightaway lead on him. So Clanton on the move.
And as you mentioned, these guys don't necessarily like each other on the racetrack. At Elko Speedway, the battle for the lead. Joey says, boom, out of my way, buddy, because I want to win. And Joey did get the win there in Elko. And then I-70 Speedway, Joey into the back of the number 17 car, and around goes Mike Garvey. Mike Garvey said, I was going to get him back, and he showed him that he was not one to be messed with a little tap there at La Crosse. And then at the Minnesota State Fair, there's Joey into the back of the 17 car. Good, hard racing between those two individuals.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have a second act, or a third act before too long right now. Clanton's closing in.
2 really tough racers that just go for broke all the time. Joey, of course, in the points championship battle, but they both want to win.
You know, they have spotters on top of the grandstand to tell these drivers when a guy's got a better line on the racetrack. Right at the moment, if I had the 17 car, I'd tell him move to the center of the track.
Well, the spotter for Mike Garvey is his wife, Lisa. The spotter for Joey Clanton, his car owner, Steve Dale. There's Robbie Pyle now in 3rd. We'll be back in a moment. Still pretty hot out here at Cedar Rapids. You can see the dog just panting away. Esther Gleitzman cheering her driver, Robbie Pyle, on, and she's doing that because Robbie Pyle's catching Joey Clanton.
He is that. He's running down from a full straightaway back right now, closing into less than the car length, coming off turn 4, and they're right on the back of Mike Garvey, our race leader in the 17 car.
You know, crew chief for Robbie Pyle, Bob Cumbo, has done a good job on that car, but we were just talking about Joey Clanton. Whatever Bon Suss, Gil Edwards, Philip McRae, and the guys did on that Campfire USA 83 has really worked for him, too.
Well, it's working really well for Robbie Pyle now in the 63. His car seems to be balanced just a little bit better than the other cars.
Hey, Jim Trado, what do you got?
Robbie Pyle's crew chief Bob Cumbo has peeled the headset off. Your driver's the fastest car on the racetrack. How does this bode for the rest of the race, Bob?
Right now, he's just trying to stay close with Garvey and Joey. I think we'll be good. We were great on the long run the last time. We don't plan on pitting again. We'll see if we can ride this thing out.
They made small adjustments all day long to get him in this position, guys.
And, you know, Robbie Pyle is kind of cut from the Gary St.Amant mold. He goes out there, he's steady, waits for the end of the race. Of course, they're both from Ohio, and in fact, they were good friends, too.
Exactly. First, second, and third right together there. And Robbie Pyle is a very talented race car driver, but he says, I'm getting tired of being called a nice guy. I hit people, too.
We'll see what happens at the end of this one, because it could come down to a little bumper tag action, because these guys are just running neck and neck.
Yeah, and I noticed Kyle Busch going a lap down there in the 07 was not that long ago. He was up to 5th, not running very well. And Butch Miller also in that silver car, the 04, a lap down now.
Wow, Butch Miller a lap down. Dan Fredrickson saw him pull on pit road just a short time ago. Robbie Pyle to the inside of the 07. Greg Stewart had a little trouble earlier on in this race as well. Brian Till.
Well, I'm down here in Fredrickson's pit. Dan, trying to make the best of a bad situation. You tried to soldier on in this car, but what caused it? Just wrong place, wrong time?
I don't want to say something I don't mean here, but lap cars are racing each other and spinning out in front of the guys in the top 5. There's no reason for that. Everybody knows that.
But I guess everybody's had it happen at one time or another. I hate it for Red Baron and all my guys out here. Great clip, you know. What are you going to do? We thought we were going to make up big points on the rookie deal today, and the guy running 35th decided we weren't.
A lot of frustration on the part of Dan Fredrickson's part. Obviously, he may try to get back in this car. They put another radiator in it.
The guy Dan Fredrickson was speaking about, of course, was Ed Brown in the 60 car who spun in front of Dan Fredrickson. Checked out exactly what happened to Dan Fredrickson, buddy, and it was Ed Brown right in front of him.
Okay, that's Ed Brown in the red car. Right there as they go down into the corner, you see the back of his car. Get out there. Dan Fredrickson said, I'm going up high trying to miss him. They got together and into the softball on the outside. Danny Fredrickson's day pretty much over.
We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here in the ASA Racing Series. Only 3 races left after this one here, and the championship's still to be decided. But you know what? Something else is still to be decided, and that is the 51sportsracing.com Most Popular Driver Award here in ASA. What's that, you ask? Well, you can help decide. All you need to do is go to asaracing.com, and there's a link for 51sportsracing.com. There you can go and root for your favorite driver and hope that he wins $500 and a free website. And all I'm going to tell you, buddy, is that there are 6 guys near the top, and it's awful close in the voting for the ASA Most Popular Driver of the Year award.
Yeah, we've had a little action while we were gone away there, and that website is dynamite.
Well,
really
very
nice.
much. Check this out between Mike Garvey. We've said he and Clinton have gotten into it.
Oh, no more Christmas cards, I'll promise you.
Oh, a second look at this one. And it was caused because Jason Boyd didn't want to go a lap down, but Joey Clinton just got into the Tecumseh 17.
Joey was just trying to wedge it in there, and they made contact. I noticed that Joey Clinton kind of backed off for a couple of 3 laps there. Let Garvey get his composure back in himself. He had to just kind of reel in.
62 laps to go. Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Diller. Buddy Baker alongside of me. Jim Trado and Brian Till on pit road here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Here comes Joey Clinton. Man, they're having trouble getting around Jason Boyd, who's trying to stay on the lead lap of that Johnny King 86.
Well, you can see Jason Boyd very, very quick. Look at Clinton trying the outside there. Boyd in the way, though. They're drawing very close as they come off the corner and down the front straightaway. Oh, boy. Jason Boyd does not know what he's in for right now. Whoa, and Garvey goes up the racetrack to counter the move, and you see Joey Clinton door handle down in the 3, but a lap car there, Ed Brown.
Clinton on the inside, squeezes back up in between Garvey and Jason Boyd, who is running 8th and now a lap down. Man, that was a close call.
Yeah, and you see Clinton right now exploring that outer groove there. He sees something he likes up there.
Joey Clinton second on the outside again. Mike Garvey fights him off.
Mike Garvey would go to the first row with him now after that first contact that they made.
Wow! Go around the lap car of Greg Williams. Troy Wangren up next. Joey has to back off. He's going to regroup.
Joey says, I'm getting my breath back. Then I'll go back and try him again.
59 to go. And, you know, you mentioned Joey Clinton going to the outside groove. He is one talented racer because he finds the groove that works for him.
Yeah, and I tell you, that's so important. So many people sit there and complain their car's not working and not look for a faster groove.
Here's a couple of veterans battling it out for the 5th spot. Steve Carlson and the Trop Arctic number 36 in the AC Doco 7 for Gary St.Amant.
Tremendous amount of respect by both drivers. And I heard Gary St.Amant say one time, if I ever retired, I would put Steve Carlson in my car in 1 second. That's what they think of each other. But hey, they're going for position now. I imagine the love affair's off.
Steve Carlson, the birthday boy, I asked him, did you have a cake? He said, no, David Stremme bought me a watermelon.
A watermelon?
A watermelon. Gary St.Amant really trying to work his way through the field because every position counts, because that means that many more points. If he gets up to 5th, well, Joey Clinton is running in front of him. He's got to stay close in this points chase with 3 races left after this one.
Well, he keeps himself in that race all the time, never making mistakes.
Gary St.Amant and Joey Clinton having a war on the racetrack, but you know what? Those 2 are friends, but they are bitter rivals off the track as well on the golf course.
For driver Gary St.Amant, there's two passions in his life, driving this race car and driving golf balls. Well, last race in Minnesota, he had a chance to go golfing before the race with Joey Clanton. Now, Gary, I understand you won the race, but Joey beat you on the golf course? You guys going to play again this weekend?
Well, we haven't played up here at Cedar Rapids, but, you know, he kept his own score there. It wasn't like I was keeping his score, so the scorecard showed he won, but who knows what the real scores were.
Well, they say you drive for show and putt for dough. Gary St.Amant hopes his short game is in full effect here at this half mile.
The pen being mightier than the sword, always.
That's right. You know, Joey Clanton did brag a little bit that he beat him pretty bad, but Gary said, you know, Joey was keeping his own score. Joey likes to win, and Gary St.Amant wants the spot.
And drove it way deep in the corner. Carlson fighting back on the outside, but right now I think Gary St.Amant has a little bit better tires, but he's not able to stick right on the bottom and pick that spot up on Carlson side by side, and they're losing time when they're running side by side.
St.Amant on the inside, Carlson on the outside. I think Carlson, yellow flag flies, 50 to go here at Hawkeye Downs Speedway.
Yeah, and the officials will have to decide who won the race back to the flag, because it's almost a dead heat between Carlson and the 7 of Gary St.Amant.
The competition caution flies. Competition caution. If we don't have a yellow flag in the last 100 laps, ASA throws the yellow to let the field regroup, let the guys check things out, maybe let some guys make some pit stops.
You're going to see a left-hand turn right at the end of pit road down here. I don't think there's a cat and mouse going on.
You're absolutely right. Here they come. Mike Garvey, Joey Clanton, Robbie Pyle, Kevin Sawinski, Steve Carlson, and Gary St.Amant on pit road. Sawinski already in, right side tires going on his mount.
They're on that little quarter-mile track as they go around. Garvey still looking for that pit crew. Of course, the 83 right there, the first pit.
Jim Treader.
Mike Garvey's in. Front tire changer Chris Roth got bumped momentarily by the nose. Garvey's in. He's a fresh bottle of water, fresh right side tires, as is Robbie Powell running third directly behind him. Clanton's down in the weight pool. Garvey's away at 10.1.
Bon Suss is pumped up because the Campfire USA team with Chad Orr, Jody Wilkerson, and the boys had a dynamite stop, Ryan Till.
Oh, fantastic stop. He slid up to his marks. They got him up on the jacks quick. Never seen a right front tire changed as quickly as they got it done here. And Bon Suss is pumped, and he should be. What a stop for Joey Clanton.
Wow, Bon Suss and the guys, a lightning quick pit stop.
Not just then, all year long, they have had a great crew. They know how to win races, and part of the reason, good pit crew.
That's right, and they practice a lot during the week in Georgia where their shop is located. Joey Clanton is off pit road first. Can he be beat? Can Mike Garvey catch him is now the question these fans want to know, and they'll find out, so will you, in a little while.
One of the classic topless models of all time. No, guys, I'm talking about the car. It's a 1959 Ford Galaxy Skyliner, and it was one of the original factory retractable hardtops. The top's actually in the trunk. It takes over 12 motors and countless relays to get it back there, but it gives you all the benefits of a hardtop and all the benefits of a convertible to boot. Now, buddy, you said the car was pretty good on the dirt tracks. My only question to you is, do you drive it with the top down or the top up?
Now, he probably thinks that's funny, but I did start in a convertible. NASCAR used to have a convertible division, but the car, the 59 that I raced for Fred hardtop, man, hardtop and a good dirt car.
Those are pretty cool-looking race cars. Some cool-looking race cars out on the racetrack now. Joey Clanton is your leader with Mike Garvey second, Kevin Sawinski third, Gary St.Amant fourth, and Robbie Pyle with a tough pit stop back to fifth.
And Butch Miller giving him nothing there in the 04. Clanton tried for about a half a lap there to get by, but now he gives way, and Clanton really motoring away. But you see Butch Miller, he's back up to full speed. Whatever his problem was, he seems to be running okay.
Butch Miller, a lap car in the 9th spot. Jason Boyd is the last car on the lead lap. St.Amant's fourth.
How about Gary St.Amant? Started dead last because of a penalty in the pit. Got on fresh tires, but this car has been a rocket ship lately, all the way up to fourth now. What a run for Gary St.Amant, our last week winner.
We have followed his progress the entire race. Now, do you think he's got a shot at the win?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I noticed then, when he really picked up the throttle early, the car moved out wide in the center part of the corner, maybe as not getting a lot of traction with the front end. I don't think he's quite as quick as the 83 of Clanton.
Okay, we saw Mike Garvey ahead of Joey Clanton before that last round of pit stops. They say races can be won on pit road. This possibly could. Do you think Garvey can get him?
Well, you know, that's why they call it racing. It's never over until the checkered flag falls. And right now, Garvey's got more followers than that with Sawinski all over the back. And here's Gary St.Amant looking on the outside, changing his groove from the bottom. This car is very good right now.
Forget about Mr. Nice Guy. St.Amant, a tough guy, trying it on the outside.
I think what might have happened to Gary St.Amant was picked up a lot of garbage on the racetrack itself. He got that off the tires, but right now he's every bit as good as anybody on the racetrack.
And you know, on the restart, Mike Garvey's car hasn't been as good as it is on long runs, as we see a little bumper tab between he and Kevin Sawinski.
Yeah, and Joey Clanton up there in that yellow car leading this race is loving this because he don't want either one of these drivers to get to him with just a few laps to go.
He said, boys, battle all you want because I'll just put it on cruise control and hang out in the lead. Sawinski trying the low side. Look at how, whoa, they get together.
And Gary St.Amant's going, that's fine. I'll just move right up there beside Sawinski. Now he's actually trying to pass Mike Garvey on the outside as they go down the back straightaway.
St.Amant's got the position for now. Sawinski battling back on the inside. Garvey gives St.Amant the outside. Wow, this is good. Almost three-wide battle.
Yeah, but right now he needs to make this pass on Garvey if he even thinks he's going to have a chance to win this race, because you look up there, the 83 of Clanton starting to inch away.
Who said St.Amant was the tortoise? He is certainly the hare because he is on the move.
And he's got a half of a car length lead down the front straightaway as they head into turn one, but Garvey giving him nothing. No quarters asked, none given.
Here comes Sawinski now on the outside of Garvey. Mark Floor, the left car.
Wow, baby! Oh! You could see contact there with Floor as they started in. The 17 car got into him just a little bit, enough to spin him. No yellow flag though, they're still under green.
Floor trying to get back out on the racetrack. Wisconsin driver, tough break for him.
Well, Garvey was in a bad spot right there. He didn't want to give up the spot, so he drove her down in the corner. Floor moved up a little bit, contact by him. Luckily, everybody went on. Not a lot of damage to either car.
And all this with 32 to go.
Hit. Big hit. Caution out.
Jason Boyd into the styrofoam in the fourth corner, the seventh caution of the day. Also involved Kyle Busch in the RoushRacing.com car.
Kyle Busch has very little damage to the car, some on the nose of the car, but he'll be able to continue on. Boyd there, a lot of damage to the left rear corner, but he's going on.
Augie Grill and the boys on the Johnny King team and Jimmy Parker and the guys in the 07 car will have to go to work on those two machines because they made some significant contact, and here is the bump from just a couple laps ago.
Mike Garvey in the 17 goes down in the middle part there. He makes contact with Fleur there, the 72. Luckily, it didn't take Sawinski to the outside, and right behind them, Robbie Powell's going, guys, be easy.
Another look here. Garvey squeezes it in between, and boom.
Yeah, and Sawinski, he'd already committed to the corner. Whatever happened, happened.
Hey, you think that is good? But you better not go away because we still have 30 laps to go. We're cleaning up the styrofoam here at Hawkeye Downs Speedway. And the top four, well, they're still top five in the hunt for this race. Joey Clanton is your leader. The Campfire USA 83. When he came down pit road, check this out. Gil Edwards will try to come across and clean the grill. He pulls into pit road, and buddy, take a look.
Yeah, he cleans the grill okay with his knees. You see him going all the way up on the hood there, I tell you what. And the guy never missed a beat. Went right straight down, cleaned the grill off, went right on with his job, yep.
That is a pretty darn devoted crew. He took care of the grill in one fell swoop.
That's it. Well, those guys, I've watched them before actually jump the front of a car on a pit stop with a tire under their arm. I mean, they're athletes.
Okay, what do you think? You got 1 and 2 in points. It doesn't get any better than this. Up front?
Well, I will say one thing. If I was Clanton, I would thank goodness right now that St.Amant was directly behind me. rather than Garvey and some of the guys he's had trouble with this year. I think these guys race each other very cleanly. It'll be the best car, the best driver that wins the race.
You know, and Joey Clanton made it off pit road first because he has a dynamite pit crew. We mentioned at the top of this one how important pit crews are. Well, shows you right here today, and some special awards at the end of this year.
It's always nice to get recognition and accolades, but it always seems to be more for you when it comes from your peers. And here in ASA, it's exactly that way. Each year, every crew chief votes on what they consider the ASA Action Line All-Star Crew of the Year award. And they give awards for the best jackman, the best front and rear tire changers, the best tire carriers, the best gas man, the best overall crew. And I can tell you from a driver's perspective, there's nobody that's more important to you than your crew. They're the guys that prepare a good race car, get you back on track, and help you win races. So for all these guys that spend time over the wall, it's nice to have an opportunity to hang a little something on the wall at the end of the year.
Good crews and a good paper there, the Action Line paper with Ross Wellman as the editor. Take a look at some of the crews down there, just checking things out, making sure everything is okay and ready with their teams as we're about to go green. Roy Marvin, part of the AC Delco crew. Brian Till.
Well, I asked Bon Suss, I said, do you have a car to stay out in front of Gary St.Amant? He very confidently looked at me and said, absolutely. We were a little loose before. We went 1 pound up with the air pressures. We're good. Jim?
Gary St.Amant's crew thinks that their worries may be behind them instead of ahead of them. They don't know if they have enough for Joey, but they're worried about Kevin Sawinski, notorious for a strong restart, sitting in third. Every position here now is 5 championship points.
And we are racing once again the restart with on lap 278. Down to the nitty-gritty. Here comes Gary St.Amant on the inside.
Gary St.Amant every bit as good as Joey Clanton as they fight down the back straightaway into turn 3. Look at St.Amant right there. Bump and run, bump and run.
Gary St.Amant putting something up the bump and run by Joey Clanton, the master of the bump and run here at ASA. And Roy Marvin is pleased.
Absolutely, and not only that, Clanton has a challenge for second.
Wow, here comes Kevin Sawinski on the inside of Joey Clanton. The Great Clips car versus the Campfire USA 83. Joey trying to regain his composure on the outside, and that's a tough way around this racetrack.
Boy, I bite my lip right now. Gary St.Amant showed me a lot of things right then, because up to this point this year, Gary St.Amant has not put a bumper on anybody. But hey, it was time to win.
How about that? He is not only eager for this championship, but eager for the win. And take a look.
Yeah, time's running out. If they're going to get Gary St.Amant today, they better turn it up, because Gary St.Amant looks like somebody set a fire to the back of that car. He is leaving here. As these guys fight side by side, Gary St.Amant says 18 to go, buddy.
No explanation needed for that move. St.Amant is your leader. The battle for second still cooking here between Kevin Sawinski and Joey Clanton.
And Mike Garvey sitting right there. So if Sawinski gets by, his problems are not over today.
Mike Garvey in the Tecumseh 17. Kevin Sawinski in the number 1, and Joey Clanton in the 83. Right behind that trio, Robbie Files still there in the Sitco 63.
Great run today. But right now, second, third, fourth, fifth, you could throw a blanket over all of them. What a great race.
But you can't throw a blanket over the span between the leader and the second place guys. Take a look at St.Amant just checking out.
And Gary St.Amant, a couple of races ago, he said, buddy, is there something wrong with what I'm doing? He came over to me like I could straighten him up. And I said, Gary St.Amant, you're a great race car driver. There's nothing wrong with you. When everything lines up, you'll win. And look at him today. Wow, standing tall.
He said the momentum he felt coming back his way at Memphis when he had a decent run with not such a good car. And then, of course, he won 1 week ago at the Minnesota State Fair, which is a very prestigious race here in ASA. He's wanted to win it since 1986. Finally did it. Could be on his way to 2 in a row.
14 to go as he comes by there. I'm telling you something, though. Right now, Joey Clanton has straightened his little act up. He's back in the second. They're not fighting each other, and they're closing back in on Gary St.Amant. This thing is not over.
Definitely not over. You know Joey Clanton's going to come back and fight for all it's worth, because he is trying to tie the single-season win mark of 10 set by Johnny Sauter. Last year, Chad Orr saying, come on, Joey, I know, I believe in you. You can come back and challenge Gary, but is that span, that distance between first and second, too much to overcome.
I don't know, but there's a lot of lap traffic out there that Gary St. Amant's going to have to deal with. This thing is not over, and you see right there the 83 of Clanton sideways off the corner. He's fighting for every inch that he's getting right now. Gary St. Amant having to deal with lap traffic. It's down to about 15 car lengths down the back straightaway.
Just shows you how good these guys are. We talked about the top three in points. Joey Clanton, Gary St. Amant, Kevin Sawinski, they're top three in this race.
Absolutely. They didn't get there by being bad.
Roy Marvin is just happy. He's been with Gary St. Amant since Gary started his career.
This is what Gary St. Amant did not want to see.
Not Roy Marvin didn't want to see it either, but they did. Jody Wilkerson, Mark Lloyd, and the guys of the Campfire USA team says, we're happy this caution came out. It closes the distance between Gary St. Amant and Joey Clanton.
Landry Potter has a lot of damage to the 24 car, backed her straight in the wall. This off wall has saved a lot of cars today, and a lot of drivers from maybe getting injured.
You're absolutely right. You know, they said, well, it's a little bit messy. Who cares about the mess, because it saves equipment, and more importantly, like you said, it saves the drivers. Get a little snow there on the back of that car. The styrofoam sticking to Landry Potter's car. You see, he just breaks loose, Buddy. Right into that styrofoam wall. Buddy and I, Jim Trado, Brian Till, will have the close of this race when we come back. I'm going to steal some words from the famous Buddy Baker. The stage has been set for the showdown. Gary St. Amant, Joey Clanton in second, Kevin Sawinski third, and here's how St. Amant got the lead.
Gets in the corner, gets in the left rear corner there, the 83 of Joey Clanton, moves him over, bop and run tactic. Hey, the stage is set right now, and they're starting nose to tail. Clanton says, you bump me out of the way, I might bump you out of the way. We'll see.
I think Buddy pretty much summed it up, Jim Trado.
Bill McGowan's a kerchief for Gary St. Amant. Now, you guys are worried about Kevin Sawinski behind you before. You ended up getting the lead on the restart and the bump. Now you've got Joey Clanton behind you. You worried about retaliation?
Well, no, Gary said he never touched him. He said Joey got loose before he even got in there. But, well, this is like 5 to go. It's anything goes now. I mean, we run all day and we're hot and we're sweaty, and now it's racing. Rubbin's racing, I guess.
Brian Till? Well, I asked Bon Suss about restart strategy. I said, what do you do other than just go? He said, just go. I said, what about a little retaliation for that last restart? He looked at me, smiled wryly, and said, maybe.
We saw a little bump and run here in the springtime. Joey Clanton and Mike getting in the 88, a little bump and run, and Joey went on to win.
Barely touched him there, but around went Eddie, and everybody thought that was going to be the showdown today, but look at what we have with just a few laps to go.
Mike Eddy in the infield of this race. What do you think he's saying now, buddy?
Don't make me say it. I like all these guys. Oh, Gary St. Amant snookered them all on the restart. What a great start by Gary St. Amant. Pulled 2 car lengths there on Joey Clanton just down the front straightaway.
5 to go. But if anybody can close the distance in that time, it is the wheeling man, Joey Clanton. Jamming Joey in the 83 car, 9 wins. Gary St. Amant with 1 win. Kevin Sawinski in third. He's got 1 win this year, too.
Yeah, that was Butch Miller just coasting around the lower part of the racetrack, but he'll make it into the pits. That won't cause a caution. Look at this lead, though, that Gary St. Amant has built over the 83 of Joey Clanton. About a 7-8 car length lead as they come off turns 4.
How about that? Gary St. Amant, there's Gene Aikens, Percy, and the guys on the AC Delco crew. Man, a little bit of youth and enthusiasm there on that restart, shifting through those gears.
Whoa, and Kevin Sawinski into the back of the car there of Clanton just a little bit, getting in the corner. Not enough to move him over, but there was contact.
We showed you they got into it at Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. Sawinski laid a bumper on Clanton, and he went around. Now that is the battle for second, and St. Amant is smooth sailing out front. Sawinski on the inside.
Sawinski pulls even down into turn 3. Clanton just drives her down in the corner and regains that little edge that he had getting in the corner, but look at Sawinski fight back.
Sawinski, a little loose coming up off the corner. 1 lap to go.
1 lap to go, and oh, they make contact, and there goes Joey Clanton into the outside wall.
The crowd goes wild here at Cedar Rapids. St. Amant looks like he's going to win this one as Clanton. His point deficit is in the wall. The battle for second, too. St. Amant wins 2 in a row.
Joey Clanton's car has a tremendous amount of damage.
Wow, Joey Clanton and Kevin Sawinski battling. St. Amant wins. in the wall. St.Amant very happy. Jim Trado. Jimbo.
Through the bunch, we see Bill McGowan getting congratulations by the crew. What a run to the finish.
Yeah, that's, we tore this thing completely apart today, and we were just hoping we get in the top 5, we'd be real happy, and this is just trying to win here for a long time. This is really ecstatic, really happy.
One thing mentioned, you got to ring the bell last week. Gary said, but wait a minute, guys, we've been coming to Cedar Rapids a long time. This adds to the satisfaction.
Oh, unbelievable. You can't imagine. And qualifying as bad as we did yesterday, 15th, I mean, we've been top 3 qualifying forever, and it was like, I said, Gary, I don't know what to do. So we just took it all apart and put it all back together again, and apparently it was all right. I think the left side tires might have helped, too.
Big time, Bob.
Well, how about that? Joey Clanton shows his temper, throws something at Kevin Sawinski, Brian.
Well, Bon Suss down here, you guys led most of the day, a great race car, and in the end, it might have been Mike Eddy that you were worried about coming in, but probably not Kevin Sawinski.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a hard racing deal. You go into the last lap, you're just racing real hard, and, you know, whatever happens, happens. We've got still a good points battle here. We got to get on the ball and go ahead and win, so we'll go from there. We'll pick up, no big deal.
These guys have come back before. I would not be surprised to see them come back again. You won't find a more professional crew out there. And Bon Suss, the disappointment, I don't think all of it shows.
There is the replay, buddy. Wow.
I did notice going in the corner there, Sawinski got on the apron just a little bit in the front end of the car, but look at Joey Clanton right here. Whoa!
Through
Good
his
thing that
heel
wasn't
protector.
a brick.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect shot by Joey Clanton. Obviously frustrated. Takes a look at his race car. Talking to his brother, Rusty. Joey Clanton is one mad guy. Kevin Sawinski is the second place guy. Garvey third. St.Amant resting a little bit there in victory lane after 2 wins in a row.
Coverage of the 2002 ASA Racing Series Championship is being brought to you by B.F. Goodrich Tires. Take control.
The winner of the Iowa 300, Gary St.Amant, you finally nailed it down here in Cedar Rapids.
Oh, finally, Jim. I'll tell you what, it was awful tough day today. It was awful hot in the race car, and you know, I think the key to winning the race today was the pit stop that we got penalized for, because that put us behind. There was, you know, no reason why not to pit and put left side tires on, and I think everybody's left side tires gave up, and I think that was the biggest difference.
One of the few guys who would actually like to take a speeding penalty because it gets you that track position by coming in the pits again. Let's talk for a moment, Gary, about the pass on Joey.
Well, you know, Joey, he was getting loose. You know, he got loose off of 2 and drove down into 3, and he got loose getting into 3, and I mean, I didn't mean to get him, but it was almost like he checked up when he got sideways and I got into him, and I'm glad he saved it. I'm sorry about what happened to him down there, but great run for the AC Delco. Lane Automotive wins. Performance Friction, who else, bud? Who else? Tilton Engineering, Port City Race Cars, Sweet Manufacturing. Everyone's helped us a bunch, and Bill McGowan, Bud Gebbin, great race car here today.
Gary, you're within 12 points, unofficially 12 behind Joey.
You know, we just keep racing. You know, every week we race the same way. If we have a car to win, and you know, we go ahead and try and win it. And just so happens, you know, we went to Minnesota, slick racetrack. Here at Cedar Rapids, it got to be slick, and that traction control really paid off.
Traction control? What is that? That's illegal.
Well, that's that PC, let's see, what is it? RFPC, that right foot traction control, and it really helped us out a lot today.
That'd be where the gas pedal rests. Brian Till?
Well, Joey Clanton standing in between turns 1 and 2 is not where you want to be talking to me after this race. I'm sure you feel like it should be up on the victory podium. Seemed like you lost a little bit there on that restart, but what happened with you and Kevin?
Well, I mean, the Campfire USA car was running good all day long. You know, the guys did good, got us out in the lead there. They killed us on restarts. I mean, just the car was just a little tight, a little pushy on restarts, and took a little while to get running. And Kevin got inside of me right there on that with about 2 to go. Gave him the whole inside of me. He got inside on the coming off of 4 earlier, and we come up and he run me up the wall and over the right rear of his tire. Just didn't give me no room, and right there I gave him the whole inside on the bottom, gave him a bottom groove, and he just pushed up and got into me and turned me around. I mean, you know, gotta say hands off to our guys, but you know, this is hard. I mean, we're trying to run for a championship. I knew Gary had gotten a good run on us, and we're can't get a finish out of this thing. I mean, we had a great car today.
That restart where Gary took the lead on you just got a little loose into the corner. He said he thought maybe he got a little loose in there and got into you, and certainly didn't mean to. Is that the way it looked from your seat?
Well, I mean, I got loose. I mean, he jacked me up and turned me sideways. It's not, I mean, that's part of racing. I caught it, but, you know, running today, I mean, trying to run these guys on the outside. I found a groove on the outside and was trying to get around Garvey. He run me up the wall. I mean, Kevin just wasn't giving me no room. He was going at the end there, but you still got to give guys room. And, you know, I gave him the whole bottom. He still just got in there and turned me around. I mean, it's hard for our team.
Well, it's now unofficially 12 points, like you said, guys, but if anybody can fight back, it's certainly this man. He's dominated most of the season. Don't expect not to see him on victory podium in these last 3 races.
The wreckage from Joey Clanton, the point, the throw, a good shot. You saw Kevin Sawinski pointing back at him. Oh, boy. It doesn't get any better than this. ASA Racing Series, short track, short tempers, all attitude, and we saw it here today at Cedar Rapids, Hawkeye Downs Speedway. Joey Clanton, a bit somber, walking away from his last lap wreck after a little bit of a tag with Kevin Sawinski. There you see the top 10. Good run for Reed Sorensen. Dudley Fleck, the local guy, 11th spot. Chris Wimmer, 12th. Big John Silverthorne, 22nd. And the rest of the field here, buddy, I don't know. What do you think?
Woo, from here to Ileana. Believe me, man, you're right. It does not get any better than this.
Jim Trejo, you've caught up with Kevin Sawinski.
Well, Kevin, Joey Clanton just mentioned to us on television that he thought he gave you enough room on the bottom and you still came into him. Your version?
Well, I think he's wrong. You know, we ran hard with him all day. I got inside him a couple times, and even on front straightaway, he touched me one time trying to slow me down. And, you know, we got down in that corner, and I knew I had an awesome run on it, and he was just trying to pinch me just like I probably did to him. Unfortunately, we got together, and, you know, he was unable to continue. But, you know, that's all right. We'll keep going. We'll hopefully get another win next week.
Kevin, talk about the points. It's huge that Joey got touched like that and ended up well down in the order.
Well, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, you know, and, you know, we're just, we're out here to win races, not win championships, and we'll let it fall where it falls.
What did he throw at you, Kev?
I don't know, maybe his gloves, I don't know, maybe I got some souvenirs in case he does win this championship.
I know you waved back at him, that's cordial.
Well, you know, I still want to tell him he's number 1.
Hey,
well, I don't have any comeback.
Don't you love short track racing, huh? You don't have to keep your feelings till next week. It's expressed today.
That's right, and that was a heel protector that Joey Clanton threw at Kevin Sawinski, Brian.
I'm standing here with a very hot Mike Garvey. You and I talked before the race. I said, you guys keep knocking on the door. You're going to knock it down at some point in time. Close one more time.
Well, Brian, it was close. Our car was real good in that middle segment. We put that set of tires on. The car was really good. And we were actually just like a tenth faster than everybody in open traffic. I couldn't decide if I wanted to pit or didn't want to pit, but we rolled the dice and pitted. The guys did an awesome pit stop. And, you know, I just want to thank Tecumseh and Bill Plemons, Meyer Plemons, everybody for making this possible. And we're finally getting back to where we need to be. We keep knocking on the door. If we keep knocking on the door, we're going to knock it down one of these days.
Well, you got to think that, you know, when Joe Shearer came in and helped you guys, the improvement seems to be remarkable. Hopefully, he'll be there for the rest of the year and whatever you do next year, I think.
Well, that's what we're hoping for. We're trying to put this together to keep us all together because Joe's made a world of difference. Just having one more set of hands has made a world of difference, and Joe's very knowledgeable. And, you know, the left-hander chassis, everything's starting to click now. It's taken us a while to get to this part, but we've got some races left. Maybe we can get us one.
Well, like I said, this W.J. Plemons teams keep knocking on the door. Eventually, it's going to open for them.
And Mike Garvey almost had the second spot side by side with Kevin Sawinski at the finish. A couple of tough racers up there, and with 3 races to go, we got a heck of a points battle. Jim Trado?
Robbie Pila harder in 4th today, trying to rehydrate with some fruit. Robbie, it was an awesome run for you guys. It just seemed like you're a tick off, though.
Yeah, we had a real strong car all day. Just having fun out there. Pretty hot, but this Howe car was handling great. You know, the handling was holding us in there, and I really got to thank the car owners, Tom and Wally Gleisman, and Sitco and MDA. I'm proud to be here. We're getting anxious to win one, but we got a points thing here we're looking at too, so maybe we'll get us one even by dumb luck here pretty soon.
Robbie Pyle doesn't need dumb luck. He's a pretty good racer.
Yeah, and he just never really got track position. I think he was every bit as fast as the leader.
And there is the point, 2,934 to 2,922. I got to do my little math here. Looks like about 12 points.
Yeah, and we have a good battle all the way down through the top 10. So, hey, it's going to be fun.
Kevin Sawinski less than 100 markers back. This is going to be good. 3 races to go. Joey Clanton is your point leader. Ileana Motor Speedway in Schererville, Indiana, on the first stop ever for the ASA Racing Series at Ileana, and we will be there. Sunday, September 22nd, right here on TNN, the national network. We will be live. Ken De La Bastille saying congratulations to Gary St.Amant. So for Buddy Baker, Jim Trado, and Brian Till, this is Bob Dillner thanking you for joining us right here at Hawkeye Downs Speedway, because it was a goodie. This one going to go down into the record books, the history book, as one of the best ever ASA races of all time. Congratulations to that man, Gary St.Amant. He couldn't believe it. 2 in a row in victory lane. Buddy Baker, good to join you here again. We'll see you next time.
My pleasure.
Hello everybody, I'm Ahmad Rashad and this is Real TV.
This is where you get the world's best caught on tape.